And another thing, stop going on Twitter and telling people, well, I supported Liz, and now I'm supporting Bernie. And yeah, obviously. That's an guys, we get it, you self-important fucking, we get it, you self-indulgent pieces of shit. It absolutely logically follows that you'd go from Liz to Bernie. We get it. There's no fucking explanation needed. Keep your 280 follower mouth shut. No one needs your 10-point plan as to why you're switching from Bernie to fucking Elizabeth Warren. Shut up. It's if you're going from Warren to Trump, that's fun. That's fun, and I want to hear it. And I want to see a Twitter thread. I want to see a Twitter thread of a woman who goes, I supported Elizabeth Warren. I'm proud of the work she's done. But now that she's out of the race, I'll be switching my support 100% completely to Donald Trump. To Donald J. Trump. That's a good thread. That's worth our fucking time. Mm-hmm. Tell us why you're going to Trump now. That would be fun. Not Warren to Bernie. We get, of course. We get it. I just think that Liz did a great job, but because of sexism and because of, and I'm going to support Bernie right now because I feel like he is the candidate with the bet. No, I want to hear, I supported Liz, but I'm now supporting Donald Trump. I'm supporting Donald J. Trump because I believe in our strong economy, strong borders. That's a fun turn to make. I don't know. Is Bernie fucked? Here's what I would say. People have accused me. They're like, oh, Tim Dillon is ironically trying to be a Bernie bro, and now there's nothing about, I'm not a Bernie bro at all. I like Bernie. I would probably vote for Bernie because he's the anti-establishment candidate. That being said, there's some things I don't agree with him on. And I don't know really what his platform would be in the general election, but a lot of it I would agree with, you know? Like people not having to sell their blood plasma. That would be one. That would be one. That would be a strong agreement I have with Bernie Sanders. That people shouldn't have to sell their blood to live in this country. That's all. I mean, again, I know that makes me some type of Hollywood sellout and shill. That's my favorite thing. They're like, Tim Dillon's a shill for Hollywood. And I'm like, yeah, because Bernie Sanders is what Hollywood wants. Nobody wants that guy. I'm telling you right now, nobody behind the wheel of a Range Rover wants this dude. I'm telling you, nobody in Hollywood, nobody on Wall Street, nobody in Palo Alto, everybody wants somebody else. He's the only guy that really throws a scare into people with money. Trump doesn't. Stop. I'm not saying Trump isn't at war with other parts of the establishment. He is. Political establishment, 100%. But Trump does not bother rich people other than aesthetically. Like they don't like how vulgar he is and how crass he is. But he's not fucking with them. He said he was going to eliminate that carried interest loophole. He didn't do it. He said he was going to rein Wall Street in. I mean, he's done the opposite. And listen, the economy's good. It's good right now. Wages aren't up. If you don't have insurance, you're still fucked. That's my thing. I'm like, listen, my friend's mother got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I mean, this is a woman that I considered defacing her grave last week, but I will now use her to make a point. But I only considered it briefly, and I don't even know how much money that would cost. And I was just going to write Trump 2020 on the grave so that other people, I just think it's funny to make a grave a Trump supporter. I think it's hilarious to go to someone's grave and put Trump 2020 all over their grave. Like, just put all kinds of, I think that's funny. This woman fought pancreatic cancer for 10 years and lived and, inspired like walks and all this stuff. But like during that time went into deep debt, mortgaging the house over and over, had to declare bankruptcy, eventually taking the phone off the hook, dodging creditors and stuff. And you're like, she felt guilty that she was still alive. She's like, I feel guilty. I'm saddling my husband with this kind of debt. I'm alive. You know, what kind of system is that? You know, and the Republican answer to that really is who cares? I mean, that's really who cares. That's the Republican answer to that is we don't care. Yeah. That's truly what it is. If there's a God, God's going to figure it out. We care about aborted fetuses. We mention them all the time. We keep track of how many they are, you know, how many aborted fetuses. And then the Republicans are like, do you know how many aborted black fetuses there are? Because Republicans love black babies. You didn't know that. I didn't know that either. They adore black children. They love them, especially when they get to be teenagers. So Republicans want more black kids around. I didn't know that. But having gone on Twitter and read about aborted fetuses and how many of them were black, and that Republicans adore black people. That was funny, too. It's like, you know, during the whole immigration argument, they're like, immigrants come to this country, they take jobs from African Americans. It's like, this is the angle now? They're like, how are these African Americans going to make a living? It's like, remember when you were flooding their communities with cocaine so you could sell weapons to the Contras? Remember that? Not too long ago? Remember all that stuff? But, you know, I just don't understand how you can. I understand being pro-life. I'm with, hey, if that's your conviction, good for you. I don't understand being really pro-life and then hearing a story like the one that I just told and going, you know, we'll let the market figure it out. We'll let the market figure out at what point this woman should disconnect her phone while she's fighting for her life, trying to be a mother and a wife, fighting for her life. We'll just, you know, hey, is that even political anymore? I mean, honestly, is that even a political question? Like, I don't even understand if that's a political question, that system is fucked. And the answer to that on the Republican side is, well, you know. And they'll go into this long explanation about why everything's fucked. And you're like, okay, but what are we going to do now? You know? But we need $1 trillion for the Pentagon. We need $1 trillion for the Pentagon. We need $1 trillion to nonstop build the future weapon systems. We need that. We need to be in a forever and ever, our civilization should only dedicate its resources to building ways to deliver death to the poorest people in the world. That's what we should do. Every innovation we have should be about trying to find another way to kill mass amounts of people. You know, I mean, we need $1 trillion for that. I don't know if we can give any money to you and your pancreatic cancer. You're a big bummer. Big bummer. But I love that the idea is like that somehow I've gone Hollywood. I hate the left. I'm not a Marxist. I hate identity politics. I think the corporate left is particularly disgusting. I think there's some smart thinkers on the left. There's some smart thinkers on the right, too. People are like, one guy on the Patreon, which I'm not even going to read anymore, but one guy goes, you can't think Bernie Sanders has anything valuable to say and quote Thomas Sowell. It's like, you can. You absolutely can. Absolutely can. Thomas Sowell might hate everything Bernie Sanders has to say. That doesn't mean that Bernie Sanders and Thomas Sowell don't have some overlap there. There probably is. The solutions are probably different. But again, it's like the reason that you don't have a podcast and that no one listens to you and no one cares about what you say is because you are a person that can't fathom that you haven't figured it all out. That's really what it comes down to. out there, wherever you live, and I'm sure it's great, but wherever you happen to be, you don't like that there's somebody out there that might add to the dialogue and it might not line up with everything that you've figured out in your life of learning and acquiring all the knowledge that you've acquired. I don't know how. I imagine most of it through podcasts and cable news because you're a smart guy. And you know that everybody that thinks to the left of you is wrong about everything, and there's no way that any of them are right. Thank you. I have such smart listeners. I forget sometimes how intelligent my listeners are and how lucky I am to have them. I'm so lucky to have so many smart people. Like when I have somebody on the Patreon they disagree with, then they go, oh, there's a lot of smart conservatives. Oh, you should have a smarter conservative on. Really? So that's what you wanted. You wanted a smarter version of the thing you hated. You wanted a more effective version of what you hated. Okay, well, find one. You know, we'll find one for you. That's my favorite thing. You're like, this episode sucked. I hated this guy. I can't believe you had him on. And next time, find a version of him that's smarter. What? I want to be more enraged. Thank you all. You know, if you need, go get a potato and put a Marlboro Light in its mouth and watch that and then press play on your phone.